Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you? Very good, very good.
And we're finally back together.
Yeah, it has been, we've had a couple of absences across the last month.
I blame August.
Yeah,
It's
it's summertime, so these
and
things.
it's very, very hot all around.
Yeah, actually, the one that we missed a few weeks back was because I had the flu or a cold or something, and it was very annoying sniffling and coughing while the sunshine was out. So I'm glad I'm over that.
Do you have like air conditioning?
We no. uh, this is one of the things on Twitter that the Americans, the burgers, make fun of Europe and the UK for is not having air conditioning. We don't. We have windows.
Yeah, Windows is nice.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's at least no. We here like if you don't have air conditioning, you will die in like I don't know 20 minutes.
Yeah, it gets very hot, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, and like it's moving from an air conditioning to the car with air conditioning to some place like it's all running between air conditioned space.
Yeah. Here, if it gets like above 35, it becomes a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I mean, anyway. So at least we're back. And today we have all kinds of topics, actually. Some of them related to BIM, some of them related to other fun things or less fun things that happened around crypto.
Yeah.
So we will get to BIM updates soon, like that few people join in. But what are your thoughts about the Shibarium breach?
I think it was, I mean, like, obviously, I feel sorry for anyone that lost money, but at the same time, it's kind of funny. Uh, they'd been, like, talking about this layer 2 that they were launching for a long time, and, like, Shibarium is obviously based on a dog token. I don't even know which dog token it is, actually. I don't know if it was, like, a Shib or Bone or... I don't think it was Doge, but one of these. And they launched it, and the bridge is broken, and it's like a one-way bridge that you can't kind of unbridge from, and all your money's essentially lost.
Oh, man. So I have kind of two things related to this. Like one is this new term that I picked up. It's kind of an abbreviation.
Yeah.
And it's JOMO. You know what? There is FOMO, like fear of missing out.
Yeah.
So JOMO is exactly the opposite. It's the joy of missing out.
This is good. I like this.
Yeah. It's like one of these things when you say, oh, how happy am I not to be in this?
Yeah. And yeah, I have a very good feeling of JOMO because I often do strange stuff like bridging to base and buying Bald or bridging to Shibarium and doing stuff. But I think I missed the whole thing, and I was sleeping or something, so I was very joyous upon waking.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you miss something and you say, I'm glad I did.
Yeah, and it can go very quickly from FOMO to JOMO as well.
Usually does.
Yeah.
In crypto. So the other thought, and it's something that, I mean, it's a little bit kind of techy and geeky what I'm going to say, but it's something that I've been experiencing for a very long time. And not just in crypto and not just in BIM, but like across many kind of companies and projects that I saw throughout my lengthy career. Like there is crazy little regard for quality assurance, proper testing, because I mean, it's my opinion, like, yes, there are bugs and issues and hacks that happen. And yeah, I understand it can happen, right? Bugs happen. But I saw a lot of organizations that just say, oh, we don't need QA. We don't need to test anything. The developers will test it. The users will test it, whatever. And I feel that kind of throughout the industry, and especially in crypto, where, people are rushing to release everything quickly and all that. So the attention to quality of what you are actually doing is so bad. And it's so kind of surprising because in crypto especially, there are like huge amounts of money involved and I mean, it's really, I don't know what to call it. Like it's really unprofessional, and I'm really worried about the quality of code all around crypto today, especially because projects copy smart contracts all the time from other projects, and then they modify it. And if there is a bug in one project, it spreads around to many ones. So, for example, like every time there is some issue discovered, like with the key generation that was recently discovered in older Bitcoin code, and like there was another bug discovered in the compiler, in the Solidity compiler. So every time something like that happens, you immediately see like huge amounts of projects that are affected by these issues because they all kind of reuse similar code patterns and they copy from each other since everything is open source. So it's especially bad, right, in this situation.
Absolutely. And it's like surprising that there's such like such an issue, given that like everything's money. Like obviously, like a lot of it's not perfect money by any sense of the name, but it's has value, arguably. Like it's convertible to stuff that is worth something and this kind of stuff. So it's always surprising this like very nonchalant lack of care. And that made me think of something like not only are like protocols or apps and stuff sharing a lot of the same like underlying smart contract code and this kind of thing, but even blockchains as well, and sometimes both, like the curve attack that I think we talked about that long ago, and I can't remember the full details. It's just kind of come to my mind at the moment, but I think someone like did a replay attack on the FPOW, so not like ETC, but the one that came after the proof of stake fork, and they did a replay attack or something, attacked a curve on the FPOW chain, and I think that they made like more money than the attacker on the main chain or something like that.
No,
I thought, oh, interesting.
It's crazy. No, I mean, like, yeah. So, like, it's one thing to kind of find some obscure issue that was difficult to detect. Like, it happened, like it can happen. But when you are just playing, just not testing what you're doing in crypto, I think it's borderline criminal.
Yeah, and like a bridge where the issue is like not being able to unlock any of the funds sent to the bridge. Like this is not some more issue. It's like, what?
Yeah. Sometimes it's just too much. Speaking of criminal, so SBF is in jail somehow after all the kind of different weird decisions that were made, like charges added, charges dropped, and then eventually he was taken into custody because apparently what happened is that he was violating his parole conditions. So he was supposed to be at house arrest, but instead he was constantly talking to reporters, leaking all kind of personal diaries of his former girlfriend and all that weird kind of stuff. So now they just put him in jail, which is, I don't know. So the trial actually starts in October. I think it's like beginning of October.
Okay.
It's scheduled. Yeah. So everybody in these YouTube channels like CoffeeZilla, who specialize on scammers and exposing them and all that, they're anxiously awaiting this moment to look what's going to happen.
Yeah. And I don't follow many large financial crime lawsuits, but I assume it will take like a very long period of time for it to kind of go through everything.
So I'm subscribed to CoffeeZilla YouTube channel, and he's doing a good job, and his production quality is very good. So his videos are well made and fun to watch. But it's not like I really follow these stories. They just keep popping up. Like the fact, for example, that Donald Trump, out of all people, turned out to be huge Ethereum whale.
Yeah, very, very long Ethereum and doesn't hold anything else, or like very small amounts of 50 cents in USDC or something. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, it's surprising for many reasons. One of those because he was not known as big kind of proponent of crypto in general.
Yeah.
And today I saw a funny tweet from Arkham Intelligence, our old friends, that said, "Oh, we have de-anonymized all Donald Trump wallets, so now you can see all of his holdings on Arkham Intelligence platform. So if you are really interested to know what he's holding, they have it."
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Like, not only is he an Ethereum whale, he's also the former president of the United States, and if I'm not mistaken, an NFT founder.
Oh my God. That's a lot of titles.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, so that happened. So another story, which is actually not from this week, it's actually, I think, from last week, maybe even before that, the launch of the PayPal stablecoin.
Oh, yeah. I actually, I didn't read too much about it, but this was last week or the week before or something like that, yeah.
So what happened is that PayPal, as we know, a very large kind of payment company with millions of users around the world, they joined forces with Paxos. Paxos was previously operating the Binance stablecoin, and they had their own Paxos Gold coin. Yeah, so they launched this, it's called, I think, Pi USD. I call it Psi USD, right? Because it's all kind of weird psyops. And the reason, like, I find it interesting is because, so it's one thing to have people go into crypto and use like USDT and USDC, and these are like more kind of crypto native projects. But PayPal is mostly users who are not into crypto, who are not familiar with blockchains. And I'm really interested. And by the way, this is launched on Ethereum, so right, it's not like a private blockchain or something. It's launched on Ethereum, and I'm really interested to see their reaction when they found out like how little privacy they have when they use this stable.
Yeah, this always blows my mind, the like lack of understanding about like the lack of privacy. And this came up like in a conversation I had the other day with some guys that are like, they like buying art and this kind of stuff, and we were talking about NFTs, and someone had shared with them like an NFT, but they'd kind of blocked out the number and didn't say like which exact NFT it was, and they're like, why did they do that? And I said, like, they probably don't want you to see all of the other stuff that they've bought and NFTs that they've bought and sold and this kind of stuff. Like it really, I mean, it opens up everything that you've done on at least that wallet, but also everything you've interacted with. And like, they understood like, oh, it makes sense that they didn't want to say it then. But I was very surprised that like the concept of not having any privacy is just foreign to many people, even those that are using it.
Exactly. So I mean, I'm not even sure, most people are aware of what it means to be using a coin or any token on Ethereum. And that a couple of days ago, I did an interview with Joel Venezuela, a guy from Twitter, and it's going to be released somewhere in the beginning of September, this interview that we did. But when we talked about it, we talked about like probably what's going to happen first is that people will, just basically start tracking what other people from PayPal are doing with this coin and what they're buying and all this kind of stuff. And then like, interesting. So that's what you're buying on PayPal. I mean, like it's probably not going to start with something major, but there will be, I'm sure there will be a lot of funny stories of people suddenly discovering what is being bought and sold through PayPal, all around. By the way, PayPal is also used for kind of, money transfers and, more serious payments. So I wonder what will happen with that once it's all traceable and on-chain. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah. And I assume, but I guess that my thinking or question is, given that it's like Paxos and this kind of thing, it will be similar to like the BUSD that they helped Binance with, and therefore like very centralized or have, or at least the ability to blacklist and this kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be completely, controlled all around, right? So basically, blocking, blacklisting, everything will happen. But even for users who are kind of within, the law, it will still be interesting to see like how much information is actually leaked after all that, and what will be the reaction of PayPal users once they find out.
Yeah, true. Because I've always like PayPal is very popular into. I've always found it like something that I would.
1 second, you disappeared. Your voice. Okay.
I'm doing that thing where I hold the microphone with my hand and then try and talk into it.
Yeah,
which isn't the most effective. I was saying, I've never really used PayPal, and it's always been one of those ones that kind of scares me to use. And I guess the main reason is like, I don't know, because I have no like first-hand experience, but it seemed rife with like chargeback fraud and this kind of thing.
I actually don't know. Like I used PayPal a few times, but not too many. So I'm not really sure about that. But I know that once once I needed to pay someone for like one small thing abroad, like some design that I wanted made. And then it was like, how can I pay you? And like, oh, PayPal. And then I'm like trying to register, and like it asks a lot of questions. And then it's like, no, I cannot send money to this person or something like that. And I'm like, screw that. I will just use Ethereum, MetaMask, 5 seconds, boom, that's it, right? The payment is done. So there's always like a lot of conditions of how much you can pay, to which country, to which person, for what reason. Like there is shitload of things that you need to kind of know before it even works. So yeah, not really, convenient way of paying people all around it.
True. And like, I guess very similar with like traditional banks and this kind of stuff.
No, that's even worse. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So what else we have? Did you sell some friends on friends tech?
I joined it. I think I joined it. I joined it and I played around with it. And it's kind of fun and interesting.
Does it only work on mobile? Like, do you need to?
At least like the first day when I played around with it, it kind of worked on mobile. Like I guess they had an influx of people trying to use it, and their servers were maybe like overwhelmed a little bit, so it was kind of buggy. But it's kind of an interesting topic, interesting like a little project. It is kind of similar if anyone remembers the BitClout that launched like 3 or 4 years ago now, and it's all about like social tokens. So if you sign up, there'll be a Alex token or an Angus token or this kind of thing, and people can buy and sell your kind of personal token. I don't know exactly like how the economics of it work, but I think like the people who are the name behind the token get like a kickback from volume, I guess. I don't know. But the really interesting thing that or at least what I thought was interesting about it, firstly, like it's a very pure form of speculation. Like there's no project behind it. There's nothing behind it. It's just a token with the person's name. And I thought that was kind of interesting, and in a similar sense that I found BitClout kind of interesting. But the other thing was like, if you buy someone's token, you can join a group where they send messages to everyone, and you can send messages back to them, but only the person whose token it is can read all of the message.
That's
people that
actually interesting.
Yeah, the people that buy a token, they can send a message, but it will only be viewable by like the the guy or girl or whatever whose token it is. So they can read everyone's, but you can only read what they write back to you or back to other people. And I thought this was kind of interesting because it, like, if you have a group chat or something, conversation is not so focused, and like if we're in someone else's group, we might start talking about something totally unrelated and this kind of thing. Whereas here, it's kind of very focused and centered around this one individual, whoever it is. And I thought that was kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting idea for the hackathon as well, because I mean, one of the problems that like when you're using anonymized identity, right? So you don't exactly know who the person is in a way, right? And you want to keep it that way. You don't want to kind of always expose who you are, but at the same time, you just kind of want to be kind of to prove that you're part of some group or a community without necessarily, exposing your identity directly or something like that. So it's similar to this idea, right? So you kind of get a token that verifies your membership in this community, and then you can participate in the discussions with these specific people without revealing necessarily who you are.
Yeah,
could be an interesting concept to try to play with.
Absolutely. And I mean, like, anonymous message boards and this kind of stuff have been popular for a very long time, and it will be very interesting. I mean, this stuff's very interesting in general for me and for you, and especially relevant for the hackathon, this whole like social aspects and this kind of thing, and what can be done there to play around with, like, outside of the normal, like, make a decentralized Twitter or make a decentralized Facebook, which I don't find very interesting. But these other kind of concepts and ideas that can, like, shift away from the norm is kind of cool.
No, totally. And I think it's a good opportunity now that we, mentioned the hackathon to talk about it. I just want to mention one funny thing before that. When we've been talking about this friend tech, I opened their website and clicked on the privacy policy. They have the link below, and it says coming soon.
Yeah. I saw that.
Policy, yeah, it's coming. Very nice to know. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So about the hackathon. So today is the first kind of official starting point of the hackathon that we announced. And I would like to kind of explain exactly what it means and what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. And first of all, off the bat, I'm going to say that it's probably going to be extended into the beginning of January. And initially it was planned to be like only 2 weeks, but it's very, very likely that it will be a little bit longer. And there are several reasons for that. The first reason is that, we had this great idea to make it last 2 weeks of August, but what we didn't take into account properly is the fact that second half of August is one of the most kind of vacation ridden times for many people.
Yeah, everyone here is on holiday and school holidays and big summer holiday, and also very like.
In Israel, there are no, like, if people have children, there are no kindergarten, there are no, like, there's nothing. So we did get a couple of explicit requests, from people who wanted to participate but couldn't because of their vacations. But then we understood that it's probably going to be even a bigger issue. One of the projects that we wanted to build as Beam team for the hackathon, it will require a lot of work from Vladi, who obviously is one of the lead developers, and she's also on vacation for next week. So all of that together combined will mean that we'll probably extend the deadline. But from things that are going to be happening is that we will start rolling out, starting tomorrow, I think we'll start rolling out all kinds of ideas and materials and pointing people to various resources about what can be done on Beam, because as we mentioned several times, it's kind of mostly pointed for web developers and people who build web applications. So basically, you don't necessarily need to have massive knowledge in blockchains or abilities to write smart contracts to participate. And so, that's what we're going to do. And we are going to do also 1 or 2 sessions of kind of tutorials, basically explaining, and showing what can be developed and how it can be done relatively easily. So starting from tomorrow, we will, start publishing these materials. And about the ideas for the hackathon, so the idea is to combine all of the interesting features of the Nostr protocol, of which there are many, with our Beam infrastructure that provides privacy and allows to combine kind of the conversational nature of this Nostr protocol with all kinds of financial operations. And I think one of the first topics that comes to mind is this new fashion of Telegram bots for trading.
Yeah, this has been very hot kind of term in recent weeks and months.
So I never used them. Did you manage to play with some of them?
I've played with a few. Yeah, I've played with Unibot and I think another one called Maestro or something like that. And I guess how I would describe it would be kind of I mean, it's weird. It's kind of cool, but also it's terrible UI. I mean, you're using those weird clunky Telegram button kind of things, and you're trying to buy tokens. I think that all I did with it was buy some stuff on Ethereum mainnet or on Uniswap or wherever it was coming from, and it's a custodial option run within Telegram. And I guess if you've ever tried to use Uniswap on mobile, the mobile MetaMask, very, very clunky, and you almost can't use it because it just doesn't work, or then your transaction doesn't go through because you didn't put enough gas, and then you can't cancel it and this kind of stuff. And this kind of abstracts away a lot of the complexity and gives some good features on top. You can have private transactions, not private, but in the mempool, they will be private, so you can't get kind of front run or sandwiched and this kind of stuff. And so it makes it kind of easier in this sense than if you're on a mobile, and they charge a fee for the service and it's all custodial and this kind of stuff, but in the background they're utilizing Uniswap and decentralized exchanges. And I thought that this was kind of quite interesting.
You need to deposit funds to some account before you can start using it, right? So it's
it will generate a wallet, and I don't know, I have no idea how they handle any of the private key security or anything like that, and I don't even want to think. So it's all custodial and this kind of stuff.
So one of the obvious advantages of something that we will build on Beam will be that at least it will not be custodial. It will be your funds in your wallet.
Yeah.
But I do understand the advantages that they're providing in the kind of the speed of execution. That you click something, and then obviously, since you don't need to prove anything further,
sure.
It happens faster. I'm not sure about this kind of private mempools, because it really depends on how this mempool is handled, right? So it can be very good, but it also can be very unpredictable, I would think. But this is one of the things that I totally believe will be kind of very interesting to implement on Beam, because one of the advantages is that you have access between the wallet and all the APIs that are provided. You have access to a lot of cool features, right? Starting from interaction with decentralized applications that we have, creating all kinds of transactions. So all of that is, just like it is accessible by any decentralized application, it can also be accessible by this Nostr-based bot. But it's even more interesting to did we have any kind of social features? Did you do any kind of interaction with other people while you were trading on Telegram, or is it just basically another form of UI?
just another form of UI. Yeah, there's no like social aspect to it other than you're doing it in Telegram, and I guess they have a Telegram group chat. I don't know. I didn't join it.
I see. No, that's like because this is actually will be something that that is interesting. For example, like coordinating all kinds of trades, maybe copy trading somebody else, like things like that. That can be fun.
Yeah,
like kind of combining these two concepts.
Actually, this is one thing that I've always wondered why it never took off in crypto, and that's something like eToro. I don't know what it's called. eToro.
Yeah.
And it's like you can copy trade, and like the people, I believe the people you're copy trading get like a small percentage and this kind of thing, and it's a very like social orientated kind of trading place.
I actually know a project that's currently working on something like that, but I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose because I think they're not public yet. But yeah, I know a project that's trying to do something like that.
Yeah.
And it's definitely an interesting. So it was very popular for a while in the traditional finance world, right? Like basically, you look at someone's portfolio and then you try to kind of copy parts of it or like replicate it and copy trade. But in crypto, indeed, for some reason, like it's not popular yet.
Yeah, I now see not super related, but I've now seen a few like I don't have TikTok, but like Instagram, I think I've seen them, something like that, short videos of like these financial gurus or whatever. But I saw a couple and I thought it was quite funny, and they were essentially like copy trading the like congressmen and congresswomen in the USA and this kind of thing. And I thought, that's not like maybe not a bad strategy.
I mean, after all, they're writing the laws, right?
Yeah. Copy trading Nancy Pelosi.
Okay, well, we will see how it works out. This is always what was it? A long time ago, I think it was John Oliver. He did this kind of episode about how he created like some fake advertisement, and then he targeted them to this area in Washington where all the politicians are usually kind of located.
Okay.
And then he tracked, like it was an episode about like how easy it is to track people, like what they click and stuff like that. Yeah. So he did this targeted campaign, and then he like caught some politicians clicking on the weird ad that he posted, and it was very yeah. So I mean, you may be surprised that like you're buying what, like something like that. So be careful. Anyway, yeah. So this is like one of the ideas that I really would like to see. But there are many more ideas. So first of all, the general kind of but the idea that we obviously are very focused on combination of messaging systems and kind of privacy. Because if you look at the regular, like old world of Facebook, Twitter, and all those old platforms that are about to die soon, you see that the move is exactly in the direction of, identifying users as much as possible. I heard some rumors that Twitter is going to add some kind of user verification or identity verification mechanisms.
Yeah. And I don't know, but I did see that too.
It's really bad in my opinion. So, but by the way, just so you know, like the first thing that happens in countries that are going totalitarian in many ways, and like obviously Russia is one of the most kind of obvious examples. The first thing that happens is that all of the ways of using the internet anonymously are blocked. Yeah. Every social network that existed in Russia, there were several like large networks. They all started immediately adding like phone verifications. Like you have to have a phone number, and you cannot get a phone number in many countries without a passport or that. And then obviously all of the data is leaked directly to the government from the server. So I think that the way that Nostr today is structured, it's very fitting to kind of combine it with privacy and then get all of these combinations between like ability to express your opinions without being immediately identified. And I think it's very interesting topic to explore.
Yeah.
So Nostr does support there are several points in the protocol description that are talking about encryption and privacy. So all of these can be utilized on top of being blockchain and platform. So this is one thing. Another very good concept that I really would like to see as well is the idea, and I talked about it probably the last time, of kind of supporting content creators. Yes, I honestly believe that if in YouTube, and I watch a lot of YouTube, so I'm like, that's one of the kind of most consumed, platforms for me. Maybe it means that I'm old, I don't know, but that's what I do. If I had an ability to just click one button and, donate, I don't know, several kind of tokens on any blockchain of any kind to the creator, I would do that much more often than I do go to Patreon, which is one of the most popular ways to support creators today, and then create an account and then, donate and then like think whether to do it periodically or monthly or what, like, so all of these things, like I don't usually do it periodically because I tend to forget. And then like, okay, so I watched a few videos and then like I donated something and then like maybe I will do it again, maybe not. But if I had this integration or something integrated with YouTube, where I could just say, oh yeah, that was great, I enjoyed it, click, I donate something, I think I would do it much more often. So I think one of the ideas that can work really, really, well is creating this mechanism for, it doesn't have to be just donations or support, but all kinds of kind of interactions with content creators. By the way, I really like there are several channels that, so like what they're doing is basically they're creating this tier for patrons, right? So for people who donate to Patreon. Yeah. And they have additional videos that they do not publish on general channels, which are only for people who support the channel, which is nice.
Okay.
Yeah, and just like you mentioned with his friend tech, like you can get more access, like you can get, I don't know, a conversation with a person, and because I honestly have situations where I would say, oh, but I really like what this person is talking about, and I would really like to discuss it with him in some forum, but obviously it's not possible to reach this guy, right?
Yeah.
So I was watching a couple of videos on a YouTube channel called Wisecrack, and it's dedicated to all kinds of philosophical topics. I don't necessarily agree with all of them, but these couple of specific videos, they were talking about the gig economy and how it doesn't work because, when the money runs out to kind of expand infinitely and support, basically subsidized expansion, right? Like Uber or WeWork and all of these companies that were based on the idea of growth until they become kind of, de facto standard in the industry, which doesn't necessarily happen. And if they do not reach this situation, what happens is that suddenly your Uber rides become much more expensive because suddenly there is no more money to subsidize in a way, right? Yeah. And I really think it's a very interesting topic in the context of Web3 because Web3 kind of solves that, I would say. And I would love to discuss this point, but it's difficult. You need to do a lot of, try to reach this person, find how to contact him. It's a problem. I think it will be very nice if these communities could be created in kind of much more ad hoc way around specific content. So this is also something I would love to see happening in our world.
Absolutely. And this, I have a couple of let me send in the chat real quickly. There's a couple of things that I saw that it would also be worth checking out for anyone looking to build something like that. And one, you might have seen it, it's from DBank, which is like the portfolio tracker kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And they have a product, I guess it's just called High. And people can send you messages, but they have to pay to send you a message. And when you read it, you get the money, and you can kind of like set what price you want to pay the people. Set the price you want people to pay you. So I'm looking at mine. I have mine set at $10. No one's messaged me, obviously. but I did.
I didn't realize how much money I saved over the years.
Yeah, I can create an invoice for past messages, but I did get a message from some project who I'm not going to say their name because it's not relevant, but they paid me $1 to like get me to read a message about their project or protocol or whatever, and I thought that was kind of interesting. It's, I guess, paying to, like, rather than paying an advertiser to put it in front of my face, they're paying me to put it in front of my face. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a great idea, and I will read about it. It's very interesting.
And the other one that I just shared, I don't actually know what it's about, but it's from that Eric Wall guy who is quite he's an interesting character, I would say. And I think that's like a similar kind of idea. You have a NFT, and if you own the NFT, you can kind of ask questions or like have an hour of their time or this kind of thing. And there was like a very brief period of time where these like DAOs were like, looked like they might become a thing. And it was pretty much like a simp DAO and like a DAO for the community of a person who the community was a fan of, kind of thing. And none of them were very interesting, and it happened in like the kind of hype and bull run of NFTs and that kind of thing. So it all got a bit crazy and nothing really happened. But I do find the idea of like paying people for their time interesting, obviously.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree, because it's like, this kind of this whole concept of the edtech-driven economy, and like, for example, we are all kind of complaining about all the data that's being collected about us, right? Like, and rightfully so. But one of the things that actually happened is that a lot of this data, it's not even used for the purposes that it is collected for. Because what's happening is that somebody comes and, they collect all the data they can, because they never know what kind of data might be useful in the future. Eventually, only a fraction of the data is used for targeting, for, targeted advertising, customizations, whatever. But all the rest of the data that's collected, it's stored somewhere, and then it's leaked. Yeah. And it's leaked in many different ways. I'm not talking about like hackers in black masks and, laptops trying to, it's just basically lying there somewhere in some database without any, kind of use. And then the company closes, or somebody moves the server, or the backup is copied somewhere. And then this collected data is just basically available to anyone who has access to it for any reason. And nobody cares. And all of these regulations that are trying to protect this data do not apply, because there is no company anymore, so there is no no one to regulate it, and it's all kind of floating around, darknet, not darknet, doesn't matter. And when you're getting off this ad-driven model, so there is no reason to collect this data in the first place. And it's kind of fighting the problem from the other end, because when you say, okay, yes, I do want my data to be protected, but if you can avoid collecting it in the first place, it also helps a lot, because then you have much less worries about like where it's stored and how it's distributed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so definitely paying me for, like, I would gladly pay for kind of more services, obviously not a lot of money, but something. And get rid of all the ads and everything they bring with them, right? It's trending, all this shit.
Yeah.
So just to kind of wrap up this hackathon theme, like if you have any ideas other than what we have described, or maybe expanding of what we have talked about, please do not hesitate to contact us. There is a dedicated hackathon channel on Telegram, but there is also the regular community channel and Twitter. So, any way that you can kind of communicate with us, it's all welcome, and it's going to be fun. So this is like one point. We do have some questions, so let's get to them before we run out of time as usual.
We do. Do you want me to read the questions and you can fire off some answers?
Let me check 1 second. No, I do have it. So I'll manage. Yeah. So one is actually not a question, but rather it is an announcement. We had some issues with the old miners channel, so we created a new one. So please rejoin. Like if you are into mining Beam, please rejoin the @Beam Miners. And it's the new channel that we have created, and now it's all fixed. And if you want us to help with translating the wallet and the website, you can also connect to Beam Translations. Both of them are on Telegram.
Cool.
Okay. So now there is a question which is interesting. Can it be possible to create a bridge with green and then basically convert green into Beam confidential asset and trade it on Beam DEX?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It was actually asked on Green Trader channel in Telegram.
Okay.
So the answer to this question is yes, it's possible, but since Green does not support smart contracts, it's going to be kind of even more centralized if it's possible than the current Beam bridge, because there should be some wallet like holding the green that you transfer and then releasing it back when we transfer back. Yeah, like it's still kind of the same centralized idea, but it's even kind of more. It's not even a smart contract that holds the tokens. It will be an actual green wallet. So if anyone from Green community is interested in operating such a service, you're welcome to reach out. We will help you with the Beam side of things. It's not a problem at all. And yes, it's definitely possible. You can register a green confidential asset on Beam. We will be very honored and definitely provide all of the support that we can.
Awesome. And like just to make sure I'm kind of understanding right, it would almost operate a little bit like WBTC on Ethereum.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly like WBTC on Ethereum, in fact.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the two last questions are about the status of current Beam updates. One is about the addresses. It's in the upcoming release that is being delayed because of non-technical reasons, kind of people, on vacation, not available and stuff like that.
Okay.
We hope to release it next week. It's one of several fixes that we did. This specific one is about creating new SBBS addresses, something that was going back and forth. We fixed some things, we broke some things, so now it's kind of in between. And the second question is about the status of the reverse bridges. The same, it's currently just waiting for the actual deployment. Everything is ready, everything is tested, everything is completely ready to launch, and it's just waiting for kind of some organizational things to happen. And I hope it will also be ready next week. So yeah, both of these things are on track. Regarding the other updates, so once we are done with the hackathon in sometime in the beginning of September, all of the focus will be around the upcoming hard fork, because we have done a lot of work on the EVM support, as you know.
Yeah, nice.
And right now it's in the status that it's working. Like there is an actual EVM compatible machine running on Beam, able to run Ethereum smart contracts. And the only thing that we need to do, there's a lot of work, but what we need to do now is to, it's basically two things. First of all, we need to finish implementing all of the different kind of commands and, mechanisms that you have in Ethereum virtual machine. It's kind of relatively basic now, so we need to complete it to be fully compatible. And the second part is we need to complete the integration with the beam privacy layer, right? I would say. So once you have run the smart contract, the result needs to be stored correctly within the beam node. So this connection is still work in progress. And then we need to test it, and then we need to do the hard fork.
Okay.
And as you know, in January next year, we also have halving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of these things are going to be kind of, I think, looking at the calendar right now, it's going to happen in same, I would say, like months or two. So there will be a fork, and then, the New Year's, and then we will drink some champagne, and then the halving will happen.
Nice.
That's the plan, including the champagne.
Yeah.
So one more kind of thing that I want to mention, but it's really a kind of early work in progress, idea. I would say it's not even a complete idea yet. Is to do some, I wouldn't call it a rebranding, but I would call it a kind of some, facelift or a change in kind of some visual components around Beam. Not the name, but maybe, something with the logo, something with the colors, like we need to think about it. Just to kind of do something new and change, things a little bit. After the next halving, obviously, Beam is a little bit different. The treasury is no longer, running. So all of the mining reward goes to the miner from that point onward. We will complete the switch to EVM, will become a much more attractive and interesting platform. So it seems like a good idea to do some kind of visual, to add some visual component to that. As I mentioned, it's very kind of early idea. So let's discuss it together as a community and see if it's a good idea and what we can do there.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's mostly it. Let me check my my notes. Yeah, I think we covered most of the topics that we wanted to talk about. Yeah, do you have anything else?
From my side, let me have a look. No, I think that is everything that we looked to cover.
Yeah, that's good.
Wicked.
Yeah,
It's been a
7 minutes early.
yeah. It's great to be back.
Always, yeah. I really miss, like, when the space doesn't happen, I'm like, something's wrong. We need to talk about something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, maybe I missed it, and I just wanted to double check. Do we know roughly how long the hackathon will be extended for?
So right now, I think it's going to be definitely at least one more week.
Okay, cool.
But maybe even longer, because we will see, what kind of projects get started and how much time we expect them, to take. And but at least 1 week into September, I think it's definitely going to be beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, agree.
Cool. So it's been great. Thank you very much. And thanks everyone for coming. And we'll see you next week. And in the meantime, we'll talk in the Telegram and other community channels and on Twitter.
Absolutely. Have an amazing weekend.
You too.
And we'll be back next Thursday, same place, same time.
Yeah. All right. Bye for now.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Wait a minute.